What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't already signed up for it yet, you're just making bad life choices. Go on over to scoresandodds.com. Go get signed up there. We have all sorts of wonderful tools, picks by some of the best in the industry, including me, Meansy, Noto, Dean, STL, all the greats over at RG, giving you betting picks almost every single day in almost every single sport. Plus, we have this nice little prop shopping tool here where it tells you exactly where the best lines are for each individual player prop. As you can see, John Morant, we can see that the best line for his over is minus 116 over at FanDuel, while the best line for his under is minus 105 over at MGM. So go get signed up. You also get access to my Discord, Grant's Action Lounge, where we're going to be I'm throwing in all my picks pretty much every single day, Monday through Sunday. All the best stuff. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. If you have a premium subscription, you get free access to it. It's that simple. Just through the link into the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel. But go scoresandodds.com/Discord. It's that simple. But we got a nice little slate today for NBA and for baseball. So we're going to go ahead and get right on into this. These are my bets. Yesterday went poorly. I think it's the worst day I've had. Well, let's see. Not quite the worst day I've had on this show. I had 3 worst days last month. It's looking like my worst month, negative 5% ROI, but we're still up. Let's see. We're still up 28 units so far on this show, so still doing pretty well. It's just that rough day yesterday that got us, and I'm sure my COVID days where my brain wasn't fully functioning, but I am locked in here. Let's just go ahead and get started with a few basketball bets. We got Kevin Huerter over 2.5 assists, getting it plus 135. I have this at close to a 50% chance of hitting, roughly 47% chance of hitting. So a plus 135 odds over at DK offers some pretty solid overall positive ROI. Milo in chat. Yesterday was awful. Yes, it was. Yeah, it didn't. I mean, if you're in the Action Lounge, we ended up throwing some winners after the show. Let's see what I had. Wiggins under 16.5 points hit. Madrigal over 1.5 total bases hit. Dodgers minus 2 runs hit. Dodgers minus 3 runs push. Thompson under 28.5 points, rebounds, assist hit. Under 4.5 hits hit. So, I mean, if you just watch the show, you got slaughtered like me on all those bets. But if you were in the Action Lounge, you got the picks at around 4:00 yesterday. You still ended up making some money. I think let me check my spreadsheet. I ended up making $136. So basically just broke even. But yeah, that's why you got to sign up for the Discord and get all those bets. Yeah, a lot lost by the hook. Manea lost by the hook. Who was it? Who else? Lauer lost by the hook. Van Vliet lost by the hook. He had 24 in the first half, points, rebounds, assists, and ended up with 31. He needed 31.5 over. So just needed one more, and did not get there. So not a great day, but like I said, we got today. So her over 2.5 assists, solid overall bet. And then some blocks and steals bets here. I mean, we look at RG projections. Ingram currently projected for 0.42 blocks. Crowder for 0.46. So Ingram over 0.5 blocks, getting at plus 185 is fantastic. Crowder getting the over at plus 150, great odds. Ingram over 1.5 blocks plus steals just because I want to get more money on it. Plus 185. Threw that on there. And then Cat over 1.5 blocks. RG projections has him projected for 1.5. So exactly the number. And you're getting plus 170 odds over at Caesar. So just, yeah. It pretty much, that's what it is. Like, those are my basketball bets. They're not normal ones, but Caesars always has terrible odds on blocks, terrible odds on steals, just terrible in general. So yeah, go make those bets. Let's get to baseball. Baseball is a lot more fun, in my opinion. It's easy to break down. We'll start off with Framber Valdez. Over 4.5 strikeouts. Real simple here. It's at minus 135 juice over at Betfred. I know that's not available over in a lot of different states. Let me check where the odds are. So there's not many. The only other place you can get it is at FanDuel. Minus 166 on the over. I think that's probably a little bit too much. But if you have Betfred in your state, go hammer that. Minus 135 is awful. Wrote this up yesterday, talked about this yesterday. Game got postponed. So Taylor McGill over 5.5 strikeouts. Let's just go right over that game because I also have Cobb on the other side. Is it the early game or the afternoon game? It's the early game. Both these pitchers are drastically underrated. I mean, McGill's been great so far this season. Looking at his numbers, has not walked a guy, 30% K rate, 2.4 xFIP. He's going up against the Giants, who decent amount of strikeouts versus righties. Yaz, Belt, Ruff, Peterson. Let's see if we have a projected lineup yet. I'm just going to go ahead and update this. Didn't do that before the show. We might have a lineup. That game starts in about an hour. Still no lineup there. But Miguel just over on a strike. Like, this is a very high strikeout lineup. I mean, Peterson, Ruff, Belt, Yaz, Crawford, Flores, Estrada, if they're in there. Don't strike out. Well, Crawford will for sure be in there. But then Duggar, Bart, both those guys strike out a huge clip. McGill, like I said, been sitting over a 30% K rate this season. Doesn't go terribly late into games, but still overall, I think it's 5.5, bad line. I'm eating the -130 juice. I don't care. It's just a solid overall spot, and he's been fantastic so far this year, hitting one of his 2 games, but this is a better strikeout matchup than the other ones. And the Cobb on the other side, not a terribly high strikeout matchup. The line's sitting at 4.5. Let me check to see if it's anymore because I might throw some more money on it. Cobb line moved to 5.5. I still like that. I still like it at 5.5 plus 125 juice on the over at DraftKings. I'm gonna actually throw some more money on that. I couldn't get too much. As you can see, I have it listed here twice. That's because I Bet Rivers, Barstool, Twin Spires, all 3 of those have the exact same lines. They use the same system, so you can always find the same line over there. I'm going to hit Cobb over 5.5. I laddered it yesterday. I'm probably going to ladder it again today if FanDuel ever comes out with a line for him. Let's see if this goes through. But Cobb, he's been fantastic. The increase in velocity is real. He's been great this season. In his first outing, 10 strikeouts, just absolutely fantastic. Stuff looks real. Looking at, there we go. My bad. It went through. Nice. So I'm going to add that to the sheet. Alex Cobb over 5.5 strikeouts, 500 125. DK. All right, Zad. Yeah, but I mean, he was solid last year. He was good. 11% swing strike rate, 25% K rate. Pretty efficient, not walking a ton of guys. Looking at him this year, 16.9% strikeout rate in his first matchup, 47.6% K rate. I'm not expecting that again. Like, that's not going to happen. But 4.5, 5.5 Ks, both of them are just far too low here. I like the over. As I said, I hit it at 4.5. I hit it again at 5.5. I've got 2 units out on him, or roughly 2 units. Let's see. Close to 2 units, $500 units. I'm big fan of Cobb today. And like I said, Miguel over 5.5, -130. Take it. Cole Irvin, he's not a terribly high strikeout guy. I got his over at +120 over at Caesars. So Cole sitting there at +120 over 4.5. He's only a 17% K rate guy. Looking at since beginning of last season, 16% K rate. Not a ton, like doesn't get swinging strikes, but he's going up against Baltimore. No one really walks that much. Trinos and Owings at the bottom of the lineup, but that's not a big enough sample size for me to believe that Owings and Trinos are going to walk at that massive clip. But no one else really walks. Hayes swings, Santander swings, Mateo swings freely, Mountcastle, Urias, Mullins, Mancini is a little bit more patient. He's the best hitter of the bunch. But it's a high strikeout matchup here, 25% K rate projected in the lineup going up against lefties. Doesn't really strike out lefties or righties at a huge clip, so it doesn't matter that they're platooning out everyone because all these guys are high strikeout bats. So getting this at +120, I think the bat has him projected for 4.9. Cheese is really on him, which if you haven't read any of Cheese's good stuff, one of the smartest guys out there in terms of baseball. Yeah, absolutely. Read his article. Even if you don't play DFS, insights are fantastic for sports betting. So go check out Cheese. Let's see if there's any questions you guys have. Feel free to throw them in chat. Dean, screw you, Dean. Yeah, any questions you guys have, throw them in chat. I'll get through them throughout the show. But Cole Irvin, I'm on the over 4.5 strikeouts. Robbie Ray, it's a big number, 7.5 strikeouts, but I still think that it is worth it. Going up against Texas, let me find it there. Ray over a 30% K rate, 31.2% K rate. Since the beginning of last season, he's been obviously Cy Young last year. Maybe due for some regression, maybe not, but he's going up against a Texas team with a lot of high K bats. I mean, hopefully Ibanez is not in the lineup. Hopefully Culberson isn't in the lineup because everyone else just strikes out at a huge clip. We'll see what the lineup ends up being, even if the projected lineup still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high strikeout bats. Ray strikes out both sides of the plate, so it doesn't really matter if it's lefties or righties. They'll probably end up trying to platoon things out with their righties just because they're going up against him, and he does give up a decent amount more power to righties, but doesn't really change his strikeout upside. Just potential home runs are coming if there's some hard-hitting righties in the lineup, which they probably will try and do. But all these guys, high strikeouts outside of these three, who Culberson, Solak, Ibanez might not end up being in the lineup. They're the three lowest strikeout bats that the Rangers have. Ray over 7.5, sitting at plus 115 over at Caesars. Let me check to see if that line has moved. Wow. It's moved to 6.5. I might have to hit that. So it's sitting at 6.5 at Caesars at minus 115. I'm going to have, I'm doubling down on that. Over 6.5 strikeouts. 0 minus 115 would be, let's see. Yeah, hit it at over 6.5. I mean, honestly, every other place has it at the right juice. You can get it at MGM minus 140 on the over, Superbook minus 140, DraftKings minus 140, FanDuel, it's at 7.5 at plus 110 on the over. I still like that line, but I think the over 6.5 at minus 115 is just a better overall line. So if you have Caesars, hit it on Caesars. If you would rather you get less juice, I have no problem hitting it at 7.5 plus 110. But I think the better line is to hit it over at Caesars at minus 115. I mean, Ray's good. He may give up a few runs, but he's going to strike out 8+ batters here, in my opinion. So I'm hitting it. I'm doubling down here on Ray at 6.5. It's just a bad overall line, in my opinion, when you consider the matchup, when you consider how good he is. People are probably worried because of his last outing. He did not go that well. So go get on there. 934, 500 win 934.78. Caesars, copy, paste. Sorry. An accountant or former accountant need to keep track of my stuff. So I've already doubled down on Ray and on Cobb. Got him at both lines. Still like everything. Just looking to get more money. As soon as the line moves, a lot of sites will let me get down more money. So that's neato. Next bet we got is looking at a lot of bets in Coors. Rhys Hoskins, 3+ total bases. You can get at plus 150. Let's see if the line's still sitting there. Going over there, heading over to the game. Line might have moved after I threw it down there. Plus 160, I think, is what I got for the home run. Yeah, it's down to plus 230. Not a huge fan of that line. And then his not 3+ hits, 3+ total bases. Gives you an extra out, but yeah, still sitting at plus 130. That I got at plus 150. So I'm still fine with that. I mean, Hoskins is an absolute beast. Let me see if the line's better somewhere else. Home runs. Let's see. Yeah, FanDuel still has the best line at plus 230. Most other plays, Caesars at plus 180, DraftKings at plus 215. Let's see what his total bases line is. Checking it out. So, yeah, you can get 2+ bases or over 1.5 bases. Still looks like the best line is sitting over at FanDuel at plus 130. So it's still fine. I don't love it, but I mean, look at his numbers here. Hoskins versus a lefty, 303 ISO, 394 WOBA. Absolutely fantastic. Freeland struggles with hard contact to righties, 341 WOBA, 207 ISO versus righties. So Hoskins, absolutely fantastic play. And if you want to, Castellanos, what's his home run prop? His total base prop is sitting around the same as Hoskins. Let's see what his home run prop is. I don't mind Castellanos' home run prop at plus 295. I mean, look at his numbers versus lefties. They're even better than Hoskins. Castellanos, just absolute beast. Fantastic versus lefties. His over total bases, his home run prop, his hits prop is sitting at over 1.5 at plus 132 over on Bet Rivers. I like that bet there. I like that bet a little bit better than his total bases bet. So yeah, Keith in chat, what does he have to do to win that bet? So the over 2.5 total bases, it's one of three things pretty much. 3 singles or 3 of any hits, a home run, or a double and a single, or 2 hits, one of which is for extra bases. So over 2.5 total bases. So singles 1 base, doubles 2 base, or you can get a triple. Triples 3 bases, home runs 4 bases. So Robbie Ray at 10 plus Ks at plus 320. Is that crazy? I don't think so. I know he hasn't struck out a ton of guys in his first 2 outings, but it's against the Twins and against the White Sox. I think Arias was in the lineup for the Twins that day. I think that 10 plus Ks is fine at plus 320. I'm not hitting it. I'm just going with the more conservative lines. 320 is not as great as getting over 6.5 at plus 115, or 7.5 at plus 115, or 6.5 at minus 115 is my favorite over at Caesars right now. But if you want to ladder it all the way up to 10, no problem with that at all. Let's see, just a few more bets here. Boom, 2+ total bases. Let me see if it's still at that. 2+ minus 105. Yeah. So Bum is still at that. He's playing over in cores, going up against Freeland. Probably batting further down in the lineup. Obviously not as good a hitter. Yeah, so the best place you can find it is at FanDuel at minus 105. Yeah, just go to the record 2 bases under the same game parlay tab. Minus 105. Other places sitting at minus 120. At DK, it's at minus 125. So I would hit it over at FanDuel. Is by far the best line. Tim Anderson over 1.5 total bases. That game hasn't started yet, I don't think. I know it's a little bit earlier. Yeah, it doesn't start for a little bit. Anderson going up against Bieber. Anderson doesn't strike out a ton. He puts the ball in play a lot. Bieber has not looked as good so far this season. Velocity is down. 5 xFIP so far. Again, I'm not expecting him to be that bad, but he doesn't look like the same Cy Young caliber pitcher that we got before. Hard contact, fly balls, both there. So over 1.5 total bases, getting at plus 145 over at DK. I'll check to see if that is the best line right now. Yeah, unless you have Superbook, it's at 146, but they'll only let you get down 100 on all player props. But yeah, that's basically it for the day. That's what I got. We'll be back again tomorrow, talking some baseball, talking some basketball. Good luck on your bets tonight, guys. Again, go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Sign up for the Discord. I'll be putting more bets in there throughout the day. Dean's, for some reason, talking about Dean still has to watch Lord of the Rings because we have bets. So yeah, Dean, go watch Lord of the Rings, you dumb. But yeah, that's it. Go to scoresandodds.com. Get signed up. We'll be back again tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're out of here. See you, kids.